5 players I'm buying in the early rounds of fantasy football drafts. I'm Russell Clay. I'm a staff writer over at fantasyguru.com, and my plan is to provide a good set of information here for you guys today. 5 players I'm buying in the early rounds of fantasy football drafts. If you like this video, please like the video and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're over on Fantasy Guru, you already did your work. You don't have to do anything else. But if you are on the YouTube channel, head on over to Fantasy Guru. We got a bunch of great stuff going on over here. My Rookie Expectations series has finally been completed. I finished up tight ends this week. I highly, highly recommend that if you're looking to improve your fantasy football knowledge. So let's get into it. I got a bunch of tabs open. We're going to go through it as quickly as possible. Now, when you hear early round players I'm buying, you probably think, yeah, Russ, I don't need to know that you're buying Jonathan Taylor in fantasy football leagues. Well, I think that's well and good, but I do think you should get a peek behind the curtain of the process of why I like some of these early round players, what I sort of look at, and sort of the meat and potatoes behind the logic that I use on a yearly basis for every player. So just because it's an early round player does not make it exempt from evaluation. So without further ado, let's get into the reasons why I like certain players. So the first player is going to be Jonathan Taylor. We're also going to be talking about Najee Harris and Saquon Barkley. And that's important context for us. So let's go down the rookie expectations journey. Let's take a little stroll here. Let's take a look at the career expectations for players. And I made this visual because I think it helps us analyze what we're looking at here. So, all right. So this is the percentage of career seasons accumulating 1,000 total yards for running backs. As you can see, it's separated by NFL draft round. This is a very important part of my process. And as you can see here, look at first round running backs. They absolutely slaughter this. And that is because when you're a first round running back, you're guaranteed volume, you're guaranteed being viewed as a valuable asset in the organization. And if you can stay healthy, you're probably pretty talented. So when you look at a guy like Jonathan Taylor, who has produced, immense production through his first couple years, he was a second round pick. But as you can see, second round picks have a pretty good career odds as well. So when you look at first, second, third round running backs, the odds that these guys produce multiple fantasy relevant years is high, really high compared to, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th rounders. As you can see, the odds get a lot lower for guys sustaining production. So when we look at a guy like Jonathan Taylor, immense prospect out of Wisconsin, second round pick for the Colts, and now he has 2 years of elite fantasy production behind him. I think, with the first overall pick, we tend to get worried about injuries, worry about players sort of falling off. And what I would say is I don't think we should have any real concerns about Jonathan Taylor at 23 years old falling off. He's clearly trending towards being one of the best second-round running backs of the next decade, and I would not be surprised to see him put up 4, 5, 6, 7, 1,000-plus yards from scrimmage seasons. And we know that most running backs have their best years in their first 3 to 5 years, unless you're an Adrian Peterson or something like that. So we do know that for Taylor, he's got a lot of things pointing in his direction. Again, second round pick, that's good. Elite athletic profile, that's good. Great offensive line, that's good. Upgrade at quarterback this year, that's good. Better weapons on the outside at wide receiver, that's good. So will he get 372 touches again in 2021? I don't think we need to count on that. Can he get 300 again? I think that's all but guaranteed if he plays a full season. So I'm locking in Jonathan Taylor as the number one pick. I don't see any reason to worry about that, nor does anyone really. He's going number one overall in about 90%, 95% of drafts going on right now. So lock that in. His draft position checks out to me. A guy that I actually do think is kind of a value here is Najee Harris. Can't really get a worse situation than he had in 2021. And he put up 1,600 total yards and 10 touchdowns. And as I pointed out early on, first-round running backs, one season, 84% of first-round running backs get one fantasy-relevant season. And 49% get three. If we look at Harris already has one in his docket here, and if he plays a full year, he's all but guaranteed to see 325, 350 touches. He's all but guaranteed to have a better situation than last year, and I think that's one thing that's confusing people. Ben Roethlisberger was horrific last year. Mitch Trubisky's not a great NFL quarterback, but he was all right for the Bears. He wasn't Ben Roethlisberger bad in his final years with the Bears. In fact, he does have a few pretty reasonable starter seasons behind him. So if Kenny Pickett beats him out, that's probably a good sign that Pickett's developing. I don't know why Najee Harris is going in the mid to late first round. I think he should be going top 2 or 3 overall. There's no real reason why a lot of these guys are going ahead of him right now. So we got the locked-in macro factors. We have an okay offensive situation. If it's bad again and he gets the Steven Jackson treatment where he's in a bad offense, but he's still getting all these touches, you're going to be fine if you draft him and he stays healthy. And again, I hedge everything with if he stays healthy. Every early round pick is a risk. We know the injury rates in the NFL are high. However, if Najee Harris does what he did last year, great receiver out of the backfield, if he puts up 60, 70 catches again, you locked in that first round pick. So I'm good there. And then Saquon Barkley. It's been a few rough years. And there's no real argument for his last 2 years. It was bad. The injuries were bad. He was coming back from a major injury last year and didn't look like himself. He's been in one of the worst offensive situations in the NFL over the last couple years. However, and you'll hear this anytime I speak about Saquon. He's the best running back of the last 30 years. Best running back prospect of the last 30 years. He just is. If you look at this, all the sliders are all the way up on his athletic profile. He was a fantastic college running back, fantastic. I know some people wanted to nitpick, his inside running, but 6 foot, 233, put up 2,000 yards from scrimmage in his rookie season. He is the absolute real deal, and he reminds me a lot of Todd Gurley after his second year. Todd Gurley, from a statistical perspective, look at that 2016 year. 3.2 yards per carry, 7.6 yards per catch. It was his second year out of Georgia. He was on a Jeff Fisher-led, just pitiful year one Jared Goff offense, and there wasn't much to get excited about. And then he switched to Sean McVay, and he went from 3.2 yards per carry to 4.7, went from 7.6 yards per reception to 12.3. Todd Gurley's talent should have never been in question heading into that year, but he was a second-round fantasy pick in that year he put up 2,000 yards from scrimmage. Todd Gurley was not even going in the first round of fantasy drafts. People didn't know what to do with him. And the talent was there. The efficiency wasn't there. It didn't always look pretty, but the talent was there, and that's what I'm banking on with Saquon. Is there a chance Saquon has, Trent Richardson type potential here where he just sucks? I don't really think so. I don't think that's in his range of outcomes. But if you want to make that argument, fine. But I know he's going to be in a better situation than he was last year, and I have to buy Saquon Barkley this year. I have to do it. You can get him with your third pick sometimes, though he's sneaking into the second round of drafts. Who knows where he'll be in a couple months, but this is an easy buy at his price. I think he should be a first-round pick, and he's going in the second or third round. So there's the running backs. Here's some wide receivers. We don't really need to talk about this for JaMarr Chase, but if you take a look at career expectations for wide receivers, we see 67% of first-round wide receivers get a 800 total yard season, and 45% get 2, a quarter or a third get 3, etc., etc., etc. And as you can see, there's actually a pretty sustainable long career trajectory for a lot of these first-round picks. Same with second-round picks, but we're only going to be talking about JaMarr Chase and CeeDee Lamb today. Both have proven talent, and beyond off-field issues, JaMarr Chase is going to be our new version of Randy Moss. I mean, that's what this is. That's what this is. JaMarr Chase was immense at LSU. I mean, just absolutely. You could argue he was the best college wide receiver of the last 2 decades. Now, there's a lot of guys who would, be in contention for that, Michael Crabtree, et cetera, but he's right up there. And he's 6 foot, 6'1", 200 pounds, runs a 4.4, 4.3, and does everything well. He's good at everything. And I just don't see how corners get good enough to cover him. And he has Joe Burrow, who's one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL. Chase is going high in fantasy drafts, and I have no problem with it. This is like drafting. When you draft Chase this year in fantasy football and it's mid-first round and you're like, I don't want to draft a wide receiver in the first round. Just say, would I want to draft, 22-year-old Randy Moss here? I would. And there's going to be ebbs and flows of quarter or wide receiver careers if Joe Burrow gets hurt again, or if Chase gets banged up and doesn't play healthy for a full year. You could see things not necessarily reaching this 1,413 again. But overall, this guy is undeniable. The hype is real. He's going to dominate secondaries. That play action from Burrow to Chase is going to be there again this year. Even if they double cover him, it doesn't matter. This is going to be fireworks, just like it was for Randy Moss early in his career. Nobody can guard JaMarr Chase, really. I know he had some up and down games last year, but this is special. We're not going to see a guy like him come out again for a very long time. So take advantage of it. Draft him in your fantasy leagues. Draft him everywhere. This is going to be an easy decade for us drafting JaMarr Chase. And CeeDee Lamb, not quite as easy, but again, I think people are seeing the forest through the trees, or whatever that analogy is here. CeeDee Lamb has been fantastic through his first 2 seasons, but for some reason that perception that he hasn't been very good is there. I I think this is where we have to look at this. When you look at players in their rookie season, just 29%, 30% of rookie first round picks produce 800 receiving yards or 800 total yards. CeeDee Lamb had 1,000 in his rookie season, and for some reason that looked like it wasn't good. And you can blame Justin Jefferson for that. You can blame JaMarr Chase for that. These guys putting up just unconscious numbers. This was a special rookie year. Not many guys have produced over 800 receiving yards. Let's see. So 49 have produced 800 or more. Just 18 wide receivers have produced 1,000 or more total yards since 2000. Just 18. So not many. And Lamb is one of those. Look at that, right next to Jalen Waddle and Julio Jones, Deshaun Jackson, and Marquez Colston, Keenan Allen. Like, he's near all these guys. And yeah, maybe he's not Chase. He's not close to Chase. We can admit that. But why can't he get 100 catches, 1,300 yards, and 8 touchdowns this year? So that's the argument for him. Amazing prospect out of Oklahoma. Was really everything you want to see there. He did everything. Solid athletic profile, first round pick. Already put up 2 years of proven production with a high floor. I'm locking Lamb in as this, not quite. It's kind of like Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen will never be viewed as an elite wide receiver in the last era. But when you look back at his career, you say, wow, what a monster. So when I look at that, like, look, Keenan Allen has put up 5 straight seasons with 97 plus receptions, 4 of the last 5 years with above 1,100 yards. I think Lamb was a better prospect than Allen, and I think he has a higher ceiling, but I can see why people aren't quite as enthused taking him in the first round. But with Amari Cooper gone, I think Lamb steps into, a more every down role. We could see him having those 5 to 7 to 9 catch games this year. Age 23, this is when guys really start to hit their prime years, unless you're JaMarr Chase or Justin Jefferson. And yeah, I'm all in. I'm all in on those 5 guys. So as always, I thank you all for tuning in. Please like this video and subscribe if you thought you got anything valuable out of it. And I will see you next time.